Morning, it's Barbie. I haven't been around for a while, so I'm so glad to be back. Reneé is going to be joining me today, telling us about her story with bilateral Bellspalsy. So I haven't talked to anybody with that before. That's really exciting. Plus, she's up to a lot of really exciting things, including our book collab. So here we go. She is joining me here. Sunday. I hope everybody's staying warm wherever you are around the world here. Really exciting. There we go. Good morning. There it works. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad that we're getting on together. I washed my hair, big day, and can't wait to chat with you. So Reneé and I are working on a book collab together with Amy, and it's called The Hunt for My Smile. So that's how we got to know each other. And we've chatted quite a bit in the groups there, but never kind of one-on-one. So I'm so glad for you to come on. You've got a lot of stuff going on. I definitely want to learn about all of it. But the first thing I think that is important to kind of tell everybody is now bilateral Bell's palsy. Now, wow, that's special.
Well,
oh my gosh. So tell me a little bit about that. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. So you woke up, obviously, I guess it would be one lateral Bell's palsy, and then you had the two. So you definitely, I'm assuming, thought that you had a stroke or something going on.
So I woke up and it was only one side.
Okay.
Initially. And then 3 weeks later, the other side got left out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice. I mean, you want to be inclusive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So the first side happened, and I was like, I went to the doctor. I didn't initially, like, I saw it and I was like, I've got other things I got to deal with today. So like,
as usual. Yeah, we were all like that.
Get better. And then I went to the doctor and for something else, and he was like, no, you're good, but you really need to go to the ER because you could be having a stroke.
Sure.
And I was like, well, thanks. That makes me feel great. So I went to the ER, called my mom, and I'm like, I'm okay, but I might be having a stroke, so I'm going to the ER.
And she's like, what?
Pretty much, yeah. And so it was really snowy, and we live like 30 minutes from like a decent hospital. So it was a drive for her and my dad, my fiance, to get there. And I went to the hospital and I told them what was going on, and they got me back there. They were really just like, it's not a big deal. Like they took my blood, but they didn't run any tests. The doctors came in and was like, did some, random, can you feel this? Can you see this? Yeah, it's just Bell's palsy. Go sit over there. You'll be fine.
Good luck. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what that is. And I had an idea because actually a couple of my coworkers one of them had it, and the other one, her boyfriend had it.
Oh, so you had heard
of it.
Kind of, yeah.
When my employee, when she had it, she literally was going on her maternity leave like the next day. So I didn't know like a lot about it. She just said like, hey, I have this. I'm going to start a day early. Cool, no big deal. And I knew she'd gotten better. And so I was like, I don't really know. And our UPS guy had it. But again, it was very minor for him. And so I was like, all right, like, I don't know what any of this is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I couldn't see, obviously. And so I'm really fortunate. My sister, she's got a really dear friend who's a friend of our family's, who's an eye doctor, who had gotten me.
Oh, great.
Who got me in with the neuro-ophthalmologist because the main concern was that I couldn't see and the dryness of the eye and all of that. And I was able to get it immediately. So I've been very blessed in that sense to where they were able to come in and kind of be like, okay, this is what we think's going on. And then I have a team of doctors because I saw multiple doctors because nobody could tell me anything. And that was in a 3-week period because I was like, what is happening? And then I woke up and that was on the left side. So then the right side was like, hey, we feel left out.
Yes.
We're going to start tingling and feeling all numb. And we're not going to let you close your eye. And so I went to see one of the doctors and she's like, yeah, it's happening again. And there's no way to stop it. Right. So all we can do
is rare though, right?
Like, yeah, exactly. Like she brought in like 5 other doctors in the clinic and they were like, we've never seen this happen before.
Because I've heard of people like you get it on the left side and then years later you get it on the right side, which is also rare, or you get it again. Like even to get it twice is fairly rare, but like at the same time, both sides. That's just, you must just feel so lucky.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, hi, my name's Reneé. This is my life. Like,
that's awesome. So you've started what I really love. So we're starting, so we're doing the book club together, which is great. And when we were chatting in the group, you were talking about your TikTok channel that you've also started. Now, of course, everybody who's followed me for probably about 5 minutes knows that I'm very passionate about encouraging everybody to use our voices. Now, you know, your TikTok channel is fairly new, and you've been talking about your experiences with Bell's palsy. And I love that, where people will say random things that are just, I'm sure, meant to be nice, but sometimes people just don't realize what they're saying. So I do encourage everybody to follow your TikTok channel, because I love your stories, and, you know, just getting out there and telling your stories about, you know, just things, people saying little things. Like yesterday, I was watching the one about somebody said, well, you can be honest with me that you're not happy anymore about your face. And you're like, well, no, I'm good, thanks. Like, I guess people try to, obviously it's coming from a kind place, you think, but I think that people just don't realize in any kind of thing going on in life that sometimes you just got to be a little bit careful about what you say.
Yeah.
So I do really encourage everybody to kind of follow your TikTok channel, because that's cool. And I love that you're using your voice more with that. I'm really proud of you for that. Now also, so tell me a little bit about, you know, what you do, because I think that that's really interesting. We bring together all our Bell's palsy community and our facial paralysis community, but everyone's from everywhere. We have so much in common, but kind of not really. It's very interesting. So you're a missionary. You've traveled to 17 different countries. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so about 15 years ago, I went on my first mission trip, which was like a year-long trip. And I thought, like, I'm going to go do this, and then I'm going to just get it out of my system. I'm young. I'll get it out of my system. I'll come home, and I'll be, like, completely normal, right? I should have known I'm not a normal person. But the different cultures and the different people and the different situations all over the world. And of course, I would get sick in every country I've visited, because that's just, you know, who I am. Mm-hmm. And I learned a lot about their healthcare there as well. And so it just started a passion in me, and for all cultures and for all people, and to just be able to provide whatever service that I could provide, and being able to just be there. And sometimes it's just being there, letting them know that they're loved. And so one of the ministries that I had the opportunity to work with was human trafficking. And that just, it broke my heart in a way that I didn't know I could be broken for people, and for women, for children, for men, for anybody. And I remember what really did it was a trafficker a former trafficker who was working with this organization. And he said, it doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter the weight, it doesn't matter the skin color or the sex. There is a market for anybody. And that just, it broke my heart that people are seen as just a transaction. You know, they said, I can sell drugs one time for this amount, or I can sell this person an unlimited times for this amount. And wow. Right.
Wow. Yeah. So really made you feel like, okay, you want to, and you know, but isn't that amazing that as humans, in both good ways and bad, that we really are all the same? Like, I think that COVID or facial paralysis and things like that really make us realize that it doesn't matter, like you're saying, the color of your skin or your hair color or your, you know, how much money you have. We are all vulnerable to certain things in life. And that's why it's so important to stick together and to help out in ways that we are able to, whatever our capacity is. So yourself going and showing people love, or, you know, us talking together on here, I think it's just so important for us to stick together and support each other as best we can in our own capacity. Do you still do that? Is that your job, or is that a...
Yeah, that is, I would love for that to be my job, but no, that is something that I do. I always say I work so that I can do these trips, right? So these are the things that I'm passionate about. I am volunteer ambassador for Share Hope International, which not Share Hope International, that's another one, but Share Hope. And so I'm with two. Share Hope International goes to Turkana, and that's a whole other Turkana, Africa, and they reach the unreached. And then there's Shared Hope, and that's in the United States. And what we do is we provide awareness on domestic human trafficking, specifically domestic minor human trafficking. And so that is what I do. I'm called a weekend warrior. And so every weekend, like there's a list of things that I
bet, that you can go to or help out with.
Like that.
That's wonderful.
Speaking at businesses, speaking at colleges, whatever. We've done fundraisers before. I mean, just kind of a variety of things, but and letters to our representatives, like every month it's sending out letters to representative about the laws that need to be changed, about what needs to be done and what we can do. And then so that's what I do while I'm here. And then when I have the opportunities to go internationally, I go internationally. I support an organization in Cambodia that is just probably the biggest my heart. That country just fell on me. Like, that's home to me. If I could just pack up and go, that would be home. And so I support them as well. And they do a lot of creating merchandise that we can actually purchase and then we can sell for them. And so I did that with Threads of Hope, which is out of the Philippines as well. So I try to connect with different organizations like that so that we can provide something. I find that a lot of times just talking about human trafficking is so scary, and people that hear that, right, it is scary for them, and they don't know how to help, and it seems like it's impossible.
Well, and such a big problem that it's nice for for someone like yourself who's so approachable and so, people can identify with you, that you can make little pieces that we can help with. I mean, no one person can really solve the big problem, but everybody together can kind of pitch in, whether you're purchasing a t-shirt or doing little things. And that's what I'm saying, that everybody has different things that we're good at, and if we all help each other out, then we can make a difference, even in one person's life. And what a huge problem and massive challenge that you're being such a big part of. And that's wonderful. And I think that for people with facial paralysis and things that we have gone through, it is really important to kind of remember that there's a lot out there. Obviously when we go through something that's a personal trauma, we kind of bubble in and you kind of like stay inside. But then once we take into account everything else that's going on, it doesn't mean that what you're going through isn't crappy, but there's a lot to focus on, that we can focus our energy in different areas. And human trafficking, especially, like you're saying, it's a big scary topic, but I think also people just don't really understand that it's not just the big bad things that are happening in the movies. There's all these little and I don't mean little by less important, but little kind of transactions that are happening that aren't necessarily the big giant ones that we can have more of an effect on immediately. And that's wonderful. I love, when we see our community, especially with facial paralysis, how we help other people. Do you think that having facial paralysis made you more empathetic and more wanting to help other people out, or it was just kind of a bump in the road and you kind of got through it? Do you think?
I would say both. So on one hand, like initially it was like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to do what I was doing? Because
Totally,
I can't. And then I had just this revelation of step outside of yourself. I remember a picture came up on our memories, and it was when I was in Thailand, and I was with a woman who actually had gotten trafficked, and I was like, whoa, this is just I am grateful that this is the only thing that I'm having to deal with. And God has equipped me to be able to overcome this. And so that voice that I have, maybe my face doesn't look the same, but I still have the same ability to do what I've been doing, and more so. Because now, if I feel this way about this, it's small, and like you said, it's not that it's irrelevant, but in the realm of things, my facial paralysis is much smaller of an issue for me to deal with than somebody who's being trafficked to Malaysia. That's a whole bigger thing. So if I'm struggling with this and I feel this lost and hopeless, what does that person do?
Imagine. Yeah, for sure. And your voice definitely still works. So that's the thing. I think that us as the group with the authors, that we're leaning on each other and learning, and then I'm wanting to now get back in it and bring back onto interviews and stuff, is regardless of what we're going through in any part of our life, it doesn't matter whether it's, you know, facial paralysis or having a baby or getting married or anything. There's always challenges and things that we can kind of come together and find common ground. You know, you're, like you said, you were on a mission chatting with a woman who had been trafficked. Well, I'm sure that there's a zillion things as two women that you guys had in common and that you bonded over. And then now she's able to bring something to you and you're able to bring something to her. And that is amazing. And that's why I just am loving social media. Yes, there's a lot of bad things about it, but there's so many good things about it. There's no way you and I would be sitting here chatting, getting to know each other, working on projects together if we didn't have this amazing tool. So I'm just so grateful for you to come on. I personally want to learn more about your work, and the things that you're doing are truly amazing, because what you're doing is allowing these women, I'm assuming they're primarily women, but primarily women, you're giving them a voice where they wouldn't have a voice before. And that's a true gift that you can give to people. So I'm really excited about learning about it more. For those of us that have been watching, I'm going to get all the links from Reneé. It'll take me a little bit, so within half an hour we'll have them posted either in the comments or below of this interview that'll be up on the Instagram, so that anybody can get involved or ask Reneé questions about the organizations that she works with, because I do feel that if you're going through a hard time with facial paralysis or anything else, one of the biggest ways that you can heal is use your voice and help others. So Reneé and I are here. Let's encourage each other to make sure we do that. And definitely the organizations you work with is a easy kind of first step to get in, for people to get involved in a small or big ways. So I'll get you to send those links. And thank you so much for joining me. You're going to be around a lot more because, like I said, we're working on a project together. Reneé's definitely going to be joining me more here on Bellspalsy Talk. So hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon.